Joey is in it deep while Dani and Nicole cope differently. What's good, y'all? This is Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Beyond the Gates video. And in this one, I'm breaking down season 2, episode number 4. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Beyond the Gates content and conversations. Let's go and start with Dani and Vanessa because they're at the country club in this episode, and Vanessa is trying to be a support to Dani, talking through finding out about her mom's diagnosis, as well as her and her sister having to go and get the test for the BRCA genes 1 and 2. And we do get a nice little friendly moment where they're just kind of like catching up, where Vanessa is affirming Dani's strength and how proud she is of both her and Nicole. They're reiterating their friendship. Dani goes as far as to say that Vanessa is such a great friend, and if you say it, girl, then I guess it must be true. I ain't seen that just yet, but you know, y'all friends or whatever, y'all having y'all moments, and it's good for, you know, people to show up and to want to be a support. If for nothing else, be a distraction at this time, because both Dani and Nicole are still waiting to get the test results back. We get an update via Vernon's conversation with Ted down at the hospital when they run into each other. He just came out of a meeting with the leader of the hospital, and they talk about how the lab has been backed up and he's calling in a favor, or the leader at offered to try to speed the results up and making as many calls as they could to try to get the results out, but they're all still waiting on the results. And while that's happening, Dani is, you know, kind of a mess, more disheveled than we have seen her. The last time we saw her, she was reassuring her dad, showing up for her dad, and then allowing Andre to like care and nurture for her, but still keeping up a strong front. But in this episode, when she's there having, you know, lunch with Vanessa, she's more visibly emotionally not in a good place, in a little bit of a shaky place. She's not fully distraught, but you can tell that she's definitely affected. And over the course of the conversation, they cycle through not only Anita's diagnosis, the testing, a little bit here and there about, you know, Vanessa's relationship with Joey, but then also they wind up landing on Dani actually leaning on Bill as well, in addition to Andre. So like, while Vanessa is bigging up Andre, Dani goes as far as to say, well, you know, Bill has also been a great support as well. And then she kind of reaffirms what Vernon has said episodes ago of like, you should just be focusing on leaning on your new husband, not your old husband, because Vanessa can't stand Bill, will never stand Bill, and loves Andre down. And then when Dani runs into Vernon at the country club, he winds up reiterating the same thing. And I'm like, y'all, is it even that big of a deal? Like, I feel like we don't have anything to be worried about as of yet when it comes to Bill and Dani. I get how people have the inkling of a concern, right? Because this seems to be the MO of like, Bill only has his together when it's falling apart and he could be the hero, right? I just don't feel like Dani is showing signs that she's in a place of falling for Bill and his old tricks. So I still don't have a problem with Bill showing up, especially because he is Naomi and Chelsea's dad. And this is something that also affects them as well. But I do understand the initial thought of like how patterns have happened with Dani and Bill and how this could be the start of a continuation of a pattern that they've seen before. But you know what? I think that y'all have been counting Dani out a little bit too much, and y'all not giving her enough credit. Like, Miss Girl, she can take all the love in, but still know that the love that she got at home is what she wants first and foremost. Like, she's in a whole different space. So I want them to chill a little bit. Just chill a little bit on my girl. Now, I talked about Dani and Nicole handling the coping or the waiting period to figure out what their results are going to be from this test differently. And while Dani is down there at the country club having conversations and also trying to get a little bit of work done, a little bit of spiraling, Nicole has put on her entirely optimistic boots. She is looking forward. She is moving ahead. She is thinking about progress, and she is focused on family. The way that she comes into Martin and Smitty's house with this family propaganda, y'all need to get off of y'all phones. Family first, family first, family first. I'm like, okay, Nicole, relax, girl. Like, I get it. You want control. You want to feel like you have a grasp on what's actually going on, so you are grasping for the control of the things that you actually can influence, but also relax. They have a very interesting visit. She comes and she brings breakfast, and she's like chastising them for being a family that's running around on their phones, not really paying much attention to each other. It's like, girl, you walked into their house. This is just one random slice of their life. You don't know what they're doing every night. You don't know how they reconnect with one another, but because she's in a place of like feeling so vulnerable with the news of Anita's diagnosis as well as the testing. I think that she is grasping for to stabilize her family, to stabilize herself in this world that seemingly is like been turned on its head. So I get it, but also I'm just like, and Martin has a little energy of like, excuse me. But they wind up having a conversation and get to talking about cotillions and debutantes and all of that. So it's an entirely great conversation, rehashing that for audience members who don't know what that is. But Samantha is going to be debuting this year, so she is going to be a debutante. And it was interesting to me when Tyrell joined the conversation and he started to have a little bit of pushback and he got all of this Jessica rhetoric. I'm like, yo, you spitting out all of Jessica's talking points. Meanwhile, you were going hit to hit with her at the damn orphanages, trying to convince her to open up her mind. So like, how are you now spouting off all of her propaganda to your family as if it's facts, getting an attitude, Martin get mad, apologize to your damn grandmother, and Nicole like, no, like, let's talk about it. She creates a safe space for them to really explore everything. Tyrell basically presents all of Jessica's like counterpoints, talking about how both of them came from foster care, and had they not been selected out of foster care, they would not be the desirables of the debutante circumstances and polite society as Nicole is describing. She makes a point that he does do a good job of pointing out a blind spot that they had, and she wants to try to work to make the program or this particular access point, because the way that she describes the debutante system is, and its importance is, it's a way to ascend to a certain level of power within society, a way to grab certain pieces of networking so that you can move yourself forward. It's a progression point. It's a thing, a tool to be used. If you don't want to use sports, if you don't want to use music, as most Black people have had to when they're really trying to claw their way out of the hood, this is another avenue for that, in reference to like debuting into polite society and creating a pathway to yourself for power. And I think that a lot of Jessica points are correct. I can't wait to see the Jessica and Nicole conversation, because it just felt a little bit off coming from Tyrell, because Martin is right. Like, you were just spouting off all of these girls' points. Do you not have a mind of your own? And that be the trickiest part in adult relationships, but also adolescent relationships. When you fall for somebody, you become obsessed with somebody, and you love them so much, you take on a lot of their things, even if it's not your things. And sometimes people have a hard time figuring out how to carve out their identity within the unit, and then they acquiesce to this other person, and then they get to saying things that they might not believe, but the other person does, or they get to do things that the other person wants done, but they don't actually want to, and you wind up losing your identity in it. So I feel like that's what the moment that they were trying to create. Tyrell doesn't feel like the type of boy that would be that susceptible to that, especially because the last scene that we saw with him and Jessica, he wasn't as like acquiescent to what she was saying. Like, he was pushing back. So to see him like fall in line when he's actually talking to Nicole and his family about it, and then, oh baby, when Samantha said, just because you want to be the martyr of tragedy and trauma, I said, oh, now he want to be the martyr. Not you pulling his card. Samantha's like, just because this happened and you want to wear it like a damn badge of honor, I don't. And I said, wow, we hitting on some real things, but they didn't really go deeper when it came to that particular exchange. So I would be interested to see if that's something that Samantha explores more in her dialogue with Tyrell, because she started to get frustrated with him downplaying the debutante situation when she is so excited for it. And even with her having to hype herself back up, because part of her wanted to hold back given Anita's diagnosis. She felt like this would be trivial and very menial to be focusing on and be excited about, when there's such bigger things for their family to be focusing on and to be thinking about. But Nicole and everybody reassures her like, no girl, your grandmother, your great grandmother would really appreciate you enjoying this. This is something that Kat did. It's something that Naomi did. It is something that is important, and it can be a benefit to you. And if you enjoy it and if you're excited about it, it's even better. So that whole conversation happens, and it's just, to me, it was just such an interesting watch. It was such a great like slice of life familial beat moment of like, this is how this particular side of the Dupree family works. Martin and Smitty were kind of there as like side characters for the most part, except for when Martin got pissed with Tyrell for pushing back so much. And I appreciate watching Nicole create a safe space for Tyrell to lodge his objections or Jessica's objections and be able to talk it through with him, and then say like, if Jessica wants to talk, I will talk with her. Like, I have no problem with that. Child, down at the hospital, Ashley decided that she wants to be all up in Shanice's business, and it takes all episode for Shanice to reveal that there is something going on with her and Ted, because I think also part of it is like her accepting it, and over the course of the day, or the course of the episode, or the part of the day that we get to see in this episode, she's now accepting it with herself. Like, we get to see her interact with Ted at the top of the episode and then interact with him at the end of the episode, and she is just more, she leans a little bit more into their attraction after admitting it to Ashley. And you know what, I want to keep Ashley in this spot. I think that she got a little bit too much lip, because at the top of the episode, Ashley's like caught on the phone, and they're not supposed to be on the phone while on the floor, and then Shanice is like, it's fine, don't worry about it. She's like pushing back, well, what happened, what's the difference with what's going on with you, what you do with Shanice? And I get that she's supposed to be presenting this of like Shanice is not herself, she's nicer, she's softer, she's this, she's that, but I just don't like watching Ashley push back against Shanice. Like, I think that Ashley just has way too much lip for Shanice at all times, and I don't believe that Ashley is actually Shanice's friend. So I already struggle with watching them engage with each other, but for the most part, their engagement in this episode was pretty platonic, pretty simple, and it gets to the point where Ashley finds out about Ted and Shanice's attraction to each other, but then she also finds out about Anita, or Shanice tasked her with following up on test results for Nicole and Dani, specifically for the BRCA gene, and then she's able to put two and two together so that Shanice doesn't violate HIPAA, and Ashley is able to find out more information. She's like, yeah, you could probably show up for your friend now, and there's no way that she would have known, because Naomi, I guess, hasn't told her to this point. It's like, yes, go find yourself something to do. You over here wallowing, talking to Shanice, let me live vicariously through your love life because I'm such a lovesick puppy dog and I don't have nobody. Girl, go be a friend. You see what Vanessa doing? You need to go be a damn friend, because every time something is happening with you freaking break a nail. Naomi is at your damn doorstep. Get your ass over there to that house and help that girl. And we get a moment where Ted and Vernon run into each other at the hospital, which is very interesting. Vernon is surprised, well, not surprised, but he's happy that Ted is still showing up for the girls. And Ted's like, I'm always going to show up for them and your daughter, because we're always family. We're never going to not be family. Was you showing up for them when you was taking Martin down to that stupid ass diner that Leslie was working at just so that you could hook up with her? Oh, okay. Let me come back to the present. It was a cool moment. It didn't give what Anita running into Bill at the hospital gave, but it gave a little something. It gave a little 1-2. It wasn't too deep. They have a little conversation. Vernon is visibly concerned. Like, this is where I talked about in the first season that we didn't really get to see much when it came to Vernon and Anita, specifically when it comes to performances. They were so even keeled about a lot of things, and now they're in a place to be emotionally volatile, and there's so many great choices. There's so much specificity to the performances for the actors that are behind Vernon and Anita, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm tuned in on. I don't really care about Vernon having a conversation with Ted, because I still don't like Ted, but in those moments I'm like keyed in on Vernon and like watching the subtleties of like how the weight and the angst that comes with the weight of the test results coming back, how that sits with him, how he is moving and walking a little bit different now that this big ass weight of Anita's diagnosis is on him, and he needs to try to show up for himself. So he goes over to the country club for a swim and to work out real quick, but then is still rushing back to take care of his wife, because he's going to be at Anita's side and do certain things. So that's what I want to highlight specifically from like the Ted and the Vernon of it all. It's less about the conversation that they had for me and more about the beautiful nuanced performance that we get from the actor who plays Vernon. And then, child, the biggest thing of the episode is Leslie and Joey, because Leslie gets called down to the casino. Joey decides that he's going to be in business with her. He's going to fund this free clinic. He's going to accept her proposal, but she's going to have to dedicate the place to Doug. And she's like, no, I ain't dedicating it to Doug. I dedicate one room. And they don't necessarily really agree on it. He's trying to figure out how to get her to change the name of it. I think that he's going to try to take the free clinic up from under her. Like, he's in it right now because Vanessa pushed for him to be involved, but he doesn't really want to be engaged with Leslie. And Leslie ass really thinks that she's the hottest thing walking, because she throws himself at him, makes a pass at him, and I'm like, child, he don't want no parts of you and your little cookie, your toxic ass cookie. They got a moment where he's like, oh, Mr. Richardson never had a chance, and she's like, and no, he didn't. Most men don't, because she believes herself to be this master seductress. It's like, girl, you are really not that hot. You need to relax. Now, you look good. Don't get me wrong, you look good, but you ain't got it like that, and you damn sure ain't got it to turn Joey's nose the way that he got Vanessa, the way that Vanessa got him wide open. You mean to tell me that you are now going to offer up millions of dollars to fund a free clinic and dedicate it to the name of the man that you killed to get him out of the way so you can have his wife? Because you care about his wife that much? Joey, I fear you're gone, sir. You are a goner. And it looks like Vanessa is just as gone. Y'all are two little white people in love here. They are in love with one another. She cannot stop throwing herself at that man. She runs out of she doesn't leave. Their lunch comes to a nice conclusion, and then she's running off to go be with Joey, because that's all we ever see her do. We see her talking to the Dupree girls or kissing on, rubbing on, loving on, yelling at Joey. Those are the only two things that she do. I'm like, girl, are you still selling houses? Are you still the Pinterest supreme, the madam, if you will? Because you would think that your job is to hunch on that white man and to be a mediocre friend to these black girls, but that's not the here nor there. Y'all, those are all of my thoughts on episode 4 from season 2. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. It's your good sister.